people of Connecticut, good afternoon. It is Thursday, and we would appreciate it if you would like, share, and subscribe to our podcast on this is Connecticut Common Sense on Common Sense News and Entertainment Network. And please follow us because that helps us a lot. Now we're remembering to say it because, we haven't been so good about that. But we've passed 100 episodes now, and now we need to be a little more serious, sort of, maybe.
That's right. That's right. We're gonna looking to get logo and everything, and this is episode number 101 now. So
Yes, this is episode 101. And
very cool. And we did have. I just want to mention we did have a guest book for today.
well, we should say who we are.
Well, okay,
I'm,
of
I'm
course.
Selena Rifkin. I'm here with our Jason Douglas and the great John Anderson. Mr. Anderson. I have to say
Yes.
that it's recording. So here we are. And
Here we are to talk a couple of things. We're going to talk about Erin Stewart for sure. But before we get to that, we had a guest. Now, we all know about TPUSA and Charlie Kirk and what happened. And it's all terrible. And
What happened?
When Charlie Kirk was killed.
Charlie Kirk was killed.
Oh, right.
His wife has taken over as CEO, and TPUSA has been an ally. We've been wanting to connect with for quite a while here in Connecticut. We did hear that they had a chapter at UConn, and I had an idea to help build a chapter at Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I went to school. And we finally connected with somebody, and he was supposed to be a guest here on the show. And the honest was, this person would help me out, He's the president of the chapter of the UConn, TPC USA at UConn, which does have a chapter. But then I had a conversation with him, and he agreed. Basically, the conversation was, "Look, I'm not going to help you with anything, but if you get something going, come let me know, and then maybe we can talk." Basically, what he was saying. The onus of it was, well, we have to find just the people that I said, well, can you just connect me with the people at Eastern that tried 2 years ago? Apparently, a little over a year ago, they tried to get a chapter at Eastern and got shot down by the student president or the student council or whatever it was, and there was no effort, really, follow-up or anything like that. So I asked him if he could at least try to get me in contact with those people that made those efforts. He said he would try. He didn't make any promises on that either.
Mm-hmm.
But he did agree to appear here today on the podcast as a guest. But then this morning I got a message from saying that, unfortunately he can't be here because he has to have permission from the president or something in order to appear. And he says that's going to put quite a cog in the wheels, exactly how he put it. As if
Interesting.
Not only that he needs permission from a president, that somehow the president, that may be an issue, like not a rubber stamp, but like a cog in the wheel. A cog in the wheel and a rubber stamp don't sound like the same thing to me. So,
yeah, that's interesting.
So my question is, he seemed like a real nice guy. I met him at the CTR annual in February, and I met him again at the debate we did last week. And
debate.
Real good dude. And but my question now is, what good are you, man?
Yeah. Well,
what's the use? What's the point?
Yeah.
So, and then I hear things about remember Todd Hacks we had a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
He blew up doors open on Proto and all that in the Philippines. Virgin Islands. And he was trying to tell me how how badly the RNC is corrupted, and that what happened with Charlie Kirk may have even had something to do with that. And not only that, but that his wife was someone that Charlie would have never wanted to run the company had he been alive. Like, if he had to pick somebody to take in his stead, his wife would have been the last person he would have wanted to have do it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he loves his wife, but he wanted his wife to take care of his kids, and he loves his wife to death, but not to run the show. So that makes me wonder. And he seems to think that the TP organization is already being compromised by poison
donors.
Donors and poison minds.
Who thinks that?
True.
Todd, if you haven't.
Todd, okay.
Yeah. So
he's a guy. Yeah, he's a pretty connected guy in the RNC, and he lives in the Virgin Islands now. He's so frustrated with it. He's
still in the RNC at this point, but that was his experience.
So it makes me wonder how bad this. It just gets me again thinking the big picture. Like, can this thing really be fixed without a real revolution? You know what I mean? Without just they've taken our college campuses. And speaking of this TPCS leads to college campuses, right? Like, our college campuses have been taken around the country, most of them. probably 80% of them have been infiltrated by far left. Where a Jewish person can't even feel comfortable walking around on campus on a lot of our own campuses around here. And that's something I never would have thought would have happened. So it's a little frustrating. And the TPCS thing is definitely weird. We're going to try to do it anyway. But I don't think this guy, I don't know if I want to use his name or not, but
No,
No,
just
don't.
yeah, don't, because
I,
no. Yeah, no, I
if
won't
he
use his name
goes and
because,
he does manage to get permission to come on,
and,
then
and I
we
don't
want
want
to
to
welcome
disparage.
him.
Yeah, we'd love to have him on still. I don't want to disparage him. Maybe he's just up against a lot of bureaucracy that he.
Yeah, we don't know what
I,
the story
Yeah, I
is.
don't want to disparage him personally. I just feel like maybe it's just that his hands are tied in a way that it shouldn't be. It does
Mhm.
well,
it does go to maybe how TPUSA is being run right now, though.
I
Yeah,
met him at the debate on Friday, and I had a conversation with him.
yeah.
He seemed to be a fan of Ben Proto, and he was shocked at the amount of people there that did not like Ben Proto because he said that Ben has helped them out a lot at the
Oh,
Yukon
you know what?
chapter.
Yeah, he probably jumped. Ben probably jumped right in. The young
Yep.
Republicans are also big fans of Ben's.
Yeah.
Mm.
And not only that, but he mentioned that he isn't really involved in politics, which I'm thinking you cannot run the TPUSA and not really be involved in politics. Also, if you're not really involved in politics,
Why is Ben
why are
Proto?
you at the debate and why are you going to these events that are Republican
And why
sponsored?
are you talking to Ben Proto?
So
Right.
why do you need permit if you're the president of the
Right.
chapter? Why do you need permission to talk to go on a podcast?
You don't. And that's what I
Don't
was saying
you
to
know?
Selena through text. I said, TPUSA loves being in front of the media. They love doing
Yeah.
podcasts. I find it very hard to believe that the morning that Aaron Stewart drops out of the race, he decides that he doesn't want to do the podcast and he's saying that, oh, somebody doesn't want him to do it. And that's where I think it is probably somebody higher up saying they're going to ask you about Aaron Stewart and the Ben Proto connection.
This makes
And
you wonder exactly what Proto did to help them, exactly what he did to help them, which is probably not what meets the eye.
well, people said that he commandeered the whole Charlie Kirk memorial out
Oh,
this
he did.
way.
Yeah, I was there. Jason, I forget, were you there for that?
No, it was not there
Okay,
for
yeah,
that.
then I guess it was just me.
Oh, the
So
one at the Cadillac Ranch, I was at that
yeah,
one.
well,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean
I
they did they set it up
took the
at the
credit.
Cadillac Ranch, and I'm gonna say that Ben he didn't necessarily, because it was a initially a Connecticut GOP event to
Hmm.
celebrate the life of Charlie Kirk, and we had piles of grassroots people. It's like we publicized it, and piles of grassroots people showed up, and the bus showed up, the Trump bus showed up, which Connecticut GOP didn't know that was going to happen.
Mm,
Hmm.
So honestly, we kind of commandeered that event from them, because
you
then
kind
it
of did.
didn't
But the
get,
boss helped a lot.
yeah, the bus helped.
It did.
Then it didn't get to be about celebrating the Connecticut GOP. It became much more because, James brought all of his banners, and
Yeah.
like there were actual like things about celebrating the life of Charlie Kirk and all the good that he did. So it became
Hmm.
much more about that than it would have actually been about the Connecticut
Let's
GOP.
say
So
what the
that was
theory is. The theory is that Charlie Kirk's grassroots pull was so powerful
hmm
that it threatened the stranglehold that the people like Proto had on the RNC, which
yeah,
resulted in his death.
yeah.
Well, it was also the ties to Israel that he was refusing to take money, and that's why there's that whole link where they think that Bebe pulled the trigger and had him assassinated. But I mean, that's all.
There's a lot of
Who
theories.
knows? Right? Who knows? All I know is
But he
he was.
threatened this. He threatened this, like the kind of stranglehold that people like Proto have on the RNC is real, just like what Proto has here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And Charlie Kirk was threatening to his grassroots movement was threatening to actually flip the RNC into an actual, benevolent for the people
Mhm.
type of party, just like we're trying to do here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
He was about to
Which is
do
what
that
the
nationwide.
Democrats should be doing with their party, but I have some psychological insights about that, which might be interesting
Yeah,
to.
why doesn't the Democratic Party have its own revolt where we're reasonable liberal.
Yeah,
Well, remember, what
let's
was this?
not get off track on that one because we
What
won't
was
talk
it
about
that they
Aaron
called it
Stewart for a
though? Oh,
while.
well, diversity. Yeah, the diversity. What's wrong with
No,
the
I
old?
think it's more that I think it goes a little. I think there are personality types involved. But I want to talk about Aaron Stewart for a minute because
Yeah, let's
gosh
shift gears.
darn
Talk
that
about
thing
Aaron.
blew up.
Big news on Aaron Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if she was listening to our podcast that we've been doing the last couple of weeks, where we've just been
Oh
slamming
no.
her over and over again.
Yeah, she's
Um,
pretty excoriated. So give
I'm
us
pretty
the
excited.
news, Mr. Anderson.
I'm pretty excited.
Take us
Erin
away.
Stewart
Yeah.
has officially suspended her campaign for the gubernatorial race in Connecticut, which means she will not be at the convention this weekend, and she will not be able to be on the ballot due to the fact that she will not get any votes.
Mm.
So,
Suspended equals
uh,
ended.
Oh.
I found her statement to be a little funny because she is dropping out to take the focus off of her for this race after she got finished saying earlier in the week that she's the best candidate and that Ryan Fazio is attacking her and the Democrats are attacking her because she's the strongest possible fit to be next governor over Lamont in Connecticut. And then the statement today is I'm backing out and I'm also putting my full support behind Ryan Fazio. And it's like what do you, so you're even lying now.
About suspending it and then endorsing another candidate.
Right, right. And the federal and local prosecutors are coming down on her and they are investigating this. The state police have already opened up an investigation. Um, I saw some of the stuff on the local news, like WTNH has the initial report that was found by the mayor. Um, and it's bad. She did pay some of it back, but over her 10 years there, it's over $200,000 that she spent on personal stuff. And not only that, but she was warned by Bloom Shapiro, and I don't know if you guys knew who they are, but they got acquired by Clifton Larson. They're one of the largest
The con-
accounting firms
yeah.
in the country, and they're based right out of Hartford. So they told her, "Hey, some of this stuff looks sketchy with these purchases. You need to figure out how to make it not look sketchy or stop doing it."
Wow.
And
When was that?
uh years ago. So
Wow.
because if they were still Bloom Shapiro, they've been Clifton Larson for at least 3 or 4 years,
Okay.
to my knowledge. So,
Okay.
she was warned, right? And we had talked about this on Tuesday, where there's no oversight.
Mm.
Well, that's the problem. Is she got audited, and she ignored the auditors because the amount of hubris that she had made
Yeah.
her feel like she was above everything, and that's why it's a joke that she even got the nomination because you can't hide this stuff. There is a paper trail a mile long when you are in government where we can find everything because it's all public record. And they're saying, oh, well, she was friends with the mayor, but it's like just because you're friends with the new mayor doesn't mean that they're not going to do their job of investigating
Mhm.
you, whether you are a Republican or a Democrat. I think it's pathetic that people are even defending her
Mhm.
and saying she's still going to be the nominee. Because guess what? Now she's no longer a nominee and she might be going to jail over this.
Mhm.
So I think we were spot on with our assessment that she should have never run for governor, that she wasn't ready. And now we know that she was, in fact, not a viable candidate. And the fact that Ben Proto probably knew about this stuff, because there's no way the GOP did not vet her, tells me that there's a lot of other shit going on where
Mhm.
they're hiding it. And this is probably why we're not winning in the state, is because they're putting out these really terrible people
Mhm.
that
And
are
layers of them
corrupt.
too, because layers of them too, because Fazio is their backup guy.
Well, I don't even know if Fazio is the backup guy because Fazio doesn't like Ben Proto either.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't like Ben Proto, but he's their next choice over Betsy. That's for sure.
Yeah, I
He's their
mean,
fallback position.
Yeah,
I
they do their
don't.
best not to mention Betsy.
Yeah,
They don't want to
but
talk. They don't want to talk about her.
Mm.
right, but I mean, to Ryan's credit, he has acknowledged that Betsy is a viable candidate.
Hmm.
He
Mm.
has done multiple debates with her at this
Yeah,
point.
Yeah.
yeah.
They seem friendly, and I don't think they're out for each other's neck. And that's
No,
what was confusing to me is when Aaron Stewart was accusing Ryan of doing all this stuff. We met Ryan, we saw him debate. He didn't take any personal shots.
Yeah. Yeah,
at
that'd be good.
Betsy.
He is on. I want to say something else. There's been people talking out on social media about Fazio having, voted with woke and voted with left wing on his voting record, and we haven't completely looked into it yet, but we've looked into the ones that they've complained about the most, and I don't think there's a lot of viability to it. I don't think his
Mhm.
voting record is as bad as
Mhm.
people are trying to say. I want to
Well,
defend him on that notion.
yeah, and that's fair because Selena brought up the point on Tuesday that he has to vote based off of his constituents, right? That's what makes you a good politician. And he mentioned on Friday that he won that seat in an area that was won by Kamala Harris by 17 points, right? So he's in a highly Democratic area, and yet he won as a Republican.
Well, he
So
looks like Clark Kent. That doesn't hurt.
yeah. Yeah. And he stands like him too, just not
Yeah,
no
he's
like
got
ro
the
very
whole
robotic.
he's got
Yeah.
the image thing going on
Yeah.
completely with a
Yeah.
that does not hurt him.
But I don't think he's
Yeah,
a bad choice. And I don't out of the two, I'm just glad that Erin is now out because
Yeah.
now we don't have to worry about her winning the primary because she was not qualified
No.
to be quite honest.
Yeah. And I want a primary, even though it's like, and that's probably going to put me in opposition with some of my,
Mhm.
some of my other delegates. But I want a primary. I want to see the competition.
hmm
And who knows,
that's
maybe
what it's about.
eventually they'll decide that they just want to work together, and that would be totally fine.
Right.
They have to make that decision. But, I want a primary
That's
because
what democracy is. I mean,
that's what
Yeah.
democracy is. Ordinary Republicans should be able to hash this out. We should be able to talk about this.
Hmm.
My biggest frustration is when people get in there and go, "Oh, well, I don't want to vote because my candidate that I really liked isn't viable or they didn't get voted in. So I'm just going to stay home because we might as well
Right.
elect Vermont." And yes, I am mocking you people.
Right. And it's fair to mock those
so
people. And
you're talking about all the Aaron voters. They're all PO'd
Yeah.
now.
Well, I
yeah.
mean, it could just as easily be, Fazio voters if, say, Betsy won the primary. I'm
Hmm.
just blue skying here because, sorry,
Yeah.
I shouldn't use that term. That's bad. But, if your candidate, it's like, and I think this is the psychology piece, is I think that personal loyalty goes a long way in the Republican Party. And I don't
Hmm.
think that's so much of a thing in the Democrat. You guys can like bounce off me if you think I'm wrong.
Oh, they'll throw somebody under. No, they'll throw you under the bus quick if you're a Democrat and they decide
Well,
you're
I
expendable.
mean,
That's
thinking,
it.
the Democrats say, okay, here's who you should vote for, and no one seems to think it's a big deal if they just, you know, take take the primary and hand it to somebody, which the Democrat Party's done that twice now in the last 10 years.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And, Republicans, if they don't like a candidate, they don't show up. And that's like there's a distinction there and like how much personal loyalty, and that's actually borne out in psychological literature.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too deep into the weeds here,
Well,
but
it's like being on a
it is borne
baseball
out in
team. If you're on a
literature.
say you're on a sports team, like a baseball team, right? You
Mm,
want to hit a
yeah.
lot of home runs and have you good
Hmm.
personal statistics,
Right.
but the team comes first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really what more
Well,
Republicans need to understand.
yeah, well, that's what's interesting is my husband actually made a similar analogy this morning when I was talking to him about this because we talk first thing in the morning, mostly because I need to spew things first thing in the morning. The poor man has to listen to me. Bless him. But he said it's not a sports team, it's politics. And that people
Mhm.
have loyalty to sports teams and it's like but people are loyal to sports teams even when they lose. And for politics, if we want to actually get something done, you kind of have to stop and switch that loyalty to what, what has a shot at winning. And if you don't participate, there's no shot.
Mhm.
We need participation.
That's why we really
Yeah.
need a ground game for with voter registration, not just for voting
Well,
itself, but for voter registration too.
I think that what we have right now, the core of what we have right now that's running for office is the best probably group that we have put together as Republicans over the last 20 years,
I
to be
would
quite
agree.
honest.
Hmm.
I would agree.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
There's
they
some
are the
really good people.
strongest. They are,
With Bolton running for
yeah,
Attorney General.
Hmm.
they are not only the strongest, but they are the people that we needed to see run because they can speak to both sides of the aisle. And for me, I think the reason why Fazio is projected to be the winner, according to Polymarket, that is because not only did he win that seat in a Democrat-controlled area, but if you look at his voting record, we don't know why he voted the way he did, but he also doesn't need to explain it because he can do what the Democrats have always done, which is just win the seat based off of pretending that he's going to be something that he's not, and then completely flip the switch and become ultra conservative or a lot more conservative than how he appears. He only needs to win the votes from the left, right? That's what we're trying to look at here, and that's what Polymarket is saying is because he's already won a seat from the left, he's got the easiest chance to win more votes from the left on his way to becoming the new governor of Connecticut. And I think Betsy, she's not from Connecticut, to my knowledge. I think she's from New York, or she at least.
Actually,
No,
no,
she
she's
was
originally
she
from
was
Wilton,
no, yeah,
Connecticut,
she grew
originally.
up.
Okay.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, her father worked in at the Derby at the a plant in Derby.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She grew up. Yeah, she grew up in Milford and went. She earned a
She's
scholarship
got
at Vassar.
she's
Yeah.
got a PhD, right?
She
Yeah.
does.
Think so.
And
Yeah.
constitutional history.
Okay. Which
Constitution.
is which is important because she was the lieutenant governor of New York, which is a lot more liberal than Connecticut is, or at least
So
they had been.
so
And
she may have a
she,
better chance with the unaffiliated.
You know what? We should have
right.
her on here just to talk about her biography, just a biography session with her on here, just to talk
Yeah.
about her whole thing, her whole past. That would help
Eh,
her, I think maybe. A
Yeah.
lot. That's one
And
of the biggest things we hear about her. Oh, she's not from Connecticut. She should go back to New York. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah.
Well, maybe talk.
except
Yeah. We'll see.
except if Megyn Kelly ever announced you want to run for U.S. Senator, we'd all be there like, yes, please do that.
Yeah.
And she's not from Connecticut. But another thing with Betsy is she was a Democrat and then
Mhm.
she switched,
Yeah.
right? So she can talk to the other side. And she is a testament that she walked away from the Democratic
She's a
Party
Yeah.
to
walkaway
go
She's a
candidate.
walk away.
right. So she could speak a lot to your point, Selena, to that unaffiliated um group of voters, which is there's about 1 million of them, but I think this is going to be the first time we're going to see multiple Republicans win, and
Mhm.
it's going to shock people because I think this is the biggest grassroots movement probably in the country is what we've all combined to do. The amount of the different groups that we have come
Mhm.
across, Jason, since we started this.
That's right.
Um, Getting Erin out is huge because that's showing that our strength is bigger than Ben Proto. And we
It
have now
is.
officially overtaken the GOP for who has the power. It is no
Yep.
longer the sitting rhinos. It is everybody else that's like, we're not going to let you dictate this anymore. And that's
That's
what we
right.
need across the country. And not only from the right, we also need it from the left. We need the left to also take over their party and refuse to allow the crazy radicals that have been
Moderate
running
that
it.
party.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
our nation has always been a more central politically affiliated country, and it has just gone haywire over the last, I would say, 18 years since Obama took office. So I'm excited. I know you're not going to have as a delegate, but I don't think we can lose with either one of these people. I think that's the exciting part. And I think that the Barros is going to be extremely helpful because he's talking to the inner city.
Hmm.
He can really, if he's working with Betsy, which I'm sure he probably will because she's MAGA and he's MAGA,
Hmm.
I think he's going to help get her elected that way, right? If it comes down to it. And I think that's the important thing is they need to be
Yeah,
kind of
Jonathan is committed to working with whoever is the Republican delegate,
it
the candidate. Sorry, I keep mixing those words up. It's bad.
Um, and and that's something that's different for this state as well, because that's not how it had been in the past, where you didn't see Republicans campaigning with each other
Yeah,
for different
and it would be
offices.
very beneficial. It would
Right,
be
This
very
goes
beneficial.
this goes to that big group that I always talk about, the big group of Democrats, either unaffiliated or Democrats that 20 years ago were staunch Democrats, but are now saying, "Hey, what happened to my party? Why has it shifted so far to the left? What do I do
right,
now?" That's where bringing these people aboard is where it comes in. With
yeah.
that, you guys, I'm gonna have to hit the road. I have
Okay.
obligations. I'm gonna leave early. I'll let you guys wrap it up. Thanks everybody for watching, and Selena Rifkin, John Anderson, you guys keep it up, and goodbye, everybody.
Hi, Jason.
Bye, Jason. Yeah, so I think it's going to be exciting to have Republicans actually kind of campaigning with each other for once. And that has been so atypical of what Ben Proto has wanted, where it's been very isolated. And when we talked to Steve Orozco, he said, oh, he had talked to Aaron's team and he had talked to Ben Proto, but there
Mhm.
was no support. There was nobody else in the area. It should have been Chris Lancia working with him to get him elected in mayor. And I don't think he looked at Lancia as a viable option back
Mhm.
then to run against Rosa DeLorio. So I think what we're seeing is the people that are not winning the nominations are the people that are so unwilling to work
Mhm.
with other Republicans. And that's why Proto has never won a successful campaign in the state because he has just isolated everybody.
Yeah,
And you can't do
exactly.
that divide and conquer when you've got so many people here who are Republican and just want what's
Mhm.
best for the state, and they're getting rejected every step of the way. And
Yeah.
it's systematic, as you've seen with every single local RTC, the disorganization. I mean,
Mhm.
this just proves that Proto had no idea what he was doing.
Yeah. There's no record of any kind of success there, which is, it's like, I don't, and this is where I get frustrated with the whole, like, that loyalty piece. It's like, really, we need to make some adjustments here. And he is, as you pointed out, he was, our young friend there was very surprised at how much Ben Proto was disliked. But, you know, if you're not looking for it, you're not going to see it.
Mhm.
You're not going to see it. I wanted to add something to this Aaron Stewart discussion. This is from a writer on X. Her name is Sophia Johnson, and I want to credit her because I thought it was a really good point. And she said that why is the Hartford Courant only focusing on Aaron Stewart and not investigating Ned's credit card or even Fazio's? Because this
Mhm.
is like, as you pointed out, this is something that happens, and shouldn't we know? And why are they only focusing on her? I think that's a really valid question. And part of it goes to the media, but
Mhm.
she also makes a reference to the Crumbie Law Group, which was in pay. It's like how much have they been paid to quote unquote investigate New Britain's finances? So these are these are interesting questions. It's like
Mhm.
why this particular group? And her post goes into this law firm a bit more, and
Yeah.
it's there's some sketchy stuff there. But why is the media, is there something deeper here that we should know about? Why is there not been further investigation? And I just now on my phone from my group, my mayor, my Democrat mayor, has just ordered probes onto city vehicle and credit card use. So they are now going after my former mayor. They're like,
Mhm.
they're like, oh, we can be like New Britain too.
Right.
Um, and the mayor said that people would come into his office all the time and
Mhm.
say, "Oh, hey, can you help me with my taxes?" And his answer was, "No, pay your taxes. I've been keeping them low for a reason." And he did.
Right.
He did a wonderful job keeping our taxes low.
Mhm.
And that was one of the reasons why we were excited to move to Ansonia.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen now. So, yeah, this is going to be, this is going to be thing. And the Democrats have tried going after our former mayor before.
Mhm.
Our state representative, who for some reason her name does not want to stay in my head. It's very slippery. It keeps slipping away,
Yeah.
slipping away. So,
Um, yeah, I mean, to your point on the Hartford Current investigating her, I'd love to say, oh, it's Jason said it's the deep state, and I'm like, I don't think it's the deep state. I think what's going on is somebody blew the whistle on her. She
mm,
might have accidentally said something that triggered this as well, right?
mm,
We don't know
mhm.
what happened, but I, I'm not opposed to oversight in any
Right.
um,
We shouldn't be.
executive
Yeah.
branch across the state. So
Hmm.
if the Democrats want to use this and start looking into former mayors, by all means, let's
Right.
figure out who's performing the
Right.
fraud.
My mayor
But
was like, bring it on.
yeah, yeah, and again, Aaron Stewart did not make a lot of friends. She's
Mhm.
under a lot of scrutiny because she is Ben Proto's choice. So because Ben has made a lot of enemies, obviously everybody's going to be investigating her to get her out of the party, to get her off of the nomination. And that's what happens. And maybe it's they looked into Betsy and they looked into Ryan, but there was nothing there, right? We don't know. It
That's
could have just
true.
been that
That's a
she
fair
was the
point.
only person that had dirt on her. And I said it. She was an idiot for disregarding what the accounting firms, the auditor said to her about
Mhm.
stopping the bullshit, and B, there was an obvious paper trail and you just still thought you were better than that. And C, why did this not come out in advance? This is
Mhm.
if they vetted her, which I think they did, they didn't think that this was going to come out. And that's the scary part.
Yeah,
They
that's
knew it was there and they just never thought it was going to come out. And that's like, how are you that dumb? In the day and age that we are, where everybody is always looking into public
mhm.
figures and every number, why would you think that we're not going to catch this? Whether it's somebody on the right or the left, I don't get it.
It
So
could be, honestly, Jay, it could be the age gap there, just in
mhm,
terms of because, one of the things that Ben said um on he was interviewed about the convention and who he thought was, viable, and he came up, mentioned the fifth district and said, "Oh yes, we've got some good candidates for that." And
mhm.
even mentioned Jonathan's name, which I was a little shocked by, but he had to mention his, opponent that they definitely have decided is a good idea. Um,
Yeah.
but when he said, "Well, I don't know how many, this is all about the delegates, and how many delegates are you going to get in a room together?" And it's like, dude, have you not heard of the whole streaming thing? Have you
Right.
not heard of this? Is this? But again, we're back to the party that thinks, a Facebook page is the same thing as a web page,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? So
It, and this is what I talk about how the Republicans are lazy. They just think everybody else is going to do it for them.
I
And and
guess.
and that's how these rhinos have been thinking is they just think that we're
Mhm.
going to show up because we're Republican when they're not
Mhm.
giving us a reason to show up and vote for their candidates.
Loyalty.
Um,
We're back to the
r-
loyalty thing again.
right. And unfortunately loyalty doesn't exist anymore. And it doesn't exist because everybody that had been loyal had been screwed over.
Betrayal.
So people stopped being loyal. And that's why people quit jobs so easily
Mhm.
now. You're never seeing people there for 30 years anymore. It's
Mhm.
maybe 3 to 5 and they're moving on to the next companies because there's no loyalty. We're
Mhm.
told from a young age, oh, you got to work at the same company. It looks better on your resume. And now it's like, well, nobody really cares. They just want the
Mhm.
most qualified person.
Mhm.
And that's the thing with voters is we are now accustomed and trained to only go after the most kind of credentialed person that we think will do the best job. So it's no
Mhm.
longer I'm going to vote for you because you're a Republican or I'm going to vote for you because you're a Democrat. It's I'm going to vote for you because I think that you are the best person for this job.
Mhm.
And the whole point of a campaign is you're interviewing. That's what it is. It's a
Oh yeah,
2 year
yeah,
interview.
yeah. I like that. I like that.
That's all it is. It's a 2 year interview. And
Uh-huh.
then that vote day comes and you either get the job or oh well.
Mhm.
But this is it's I'm excited. I was gonna go to the convention and talk a lot of smack to delegates about Erin. I don't need to do that anymore, so I'm pretty happy. I'll
Yes, you did. I
I'll
remember that plan.
I'll still be there tomorrow and probably Saturday. We just have to make sure that um everything is on the up and up and that Ben his influence needs to be I almost wish that we could lock Ben into a room by himself so that he couldn't talk to anybody.
Mm.
And I don't know if there's anything the delegates can do, but can is there a way to put him under a gag order so that he can't go around
I
influencing?
think what's interesting is John Flynn did he did do some kind of lawsuit, and um so just this is a little bit of an aside, but Ben Proto, let's see, who was it? There is a claim that Ben Proto is not in fact a delegate, but he is on the delegate list. I saw it myself. So I'm very curious to see whether or not he's going to be able to come in and vote in my
Mhm.
district. Because if he's a delegate, he's a delegate, and how you're gonna be a I yeah I'd have to, I what district is Stratford? Is that fourth district or third district?
I don't know. Let me check it. Are you talking on the state level
Yeah,
or the national level
congressional,
for
congressional. Because I can't remember. I didn't think to look at what, because I remember seeing his name on. I know which list I was looking at because I have a whole state list and I had one for one of the districts. But
he is in the fourth congressional, which is
okay,
run by Jim Hines.
yep, yep.
Himes, Hims,
And
him is.
they've said, yeah, the fourth district who's running there is Daniel Moresi. We
Mhm,
have Goldstein is running, and then John Flynn is also running. Um, So yeah, and John Flynn he's the one who like really looks at the the whole
mhm.
process. And it's very interesting because he's keeps finding things about the process that are truly frightening.
Yeah. Well, you had said that only delegates should be in the room or can be in the room for the votes. Is that
Yeah.
accurate?
I believe so, but again,
So,
this is my first time. So I know
yeah.
obviously we have to be in the room. So I don't know. That was so Dell it wasn't just because when Jason ran, I
Hmm.
know there were people there who were guests who were not state central representatives who were in the room, but Jason was
Okay.
not allowed to be in the room. So I don't know what's going to happen at the convention. I
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I,
that's
I actually don't even know if I have been accepted through my registration.
hmm,
That's how disconnected this whole process is.
hmm,
I got the email of the form that I filled out saying this is what you filled out, but I never got a confirmation on
right.
if I'm allowed to be there.
Right. And the
Um,
guest registration is definitely shut down now.
yeah, I think it shut down yesterday. I actually applied as a member of the media,
Okay.
um,
All
just
right.
because I didn't know what else.
What the
I didn't want
hell?
to be a, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. I don't know what the situation is with that. They didn't ask for any media like
Credentials.
background. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, how? It's just like five choices, and it's like, but you're not actually having anybody fill any information out on who they're a guest of, what media they represent,
Right.
or what committee or
Mm.
talent they're from. Like, it just made no sense to me. And I don't know. It was like a Google form, which is embarrassing. It's a free
Yeah, that
form.
is. Yeah, that is.
Uh, so,
It's like, come on. Do you not have, I mean, come on now. Google.
well,
Yeah.
it's not even like even from a data perspective, right? Like
Mhm.
if you use a better form, a paid form, you can
Mhm.
collect all the data that people are putting into this, compile it into spreadsheets.
Yeah.
With a Google form, you have to do that individually per person that registers.
Oh my
It,
God. Yeah,
and
because
it
I've never dealt with Google and I didn't, that's not what I used for a sign up for, when we did the sign up for the debate.
yeah,
And so I have that data. Yay.
yeah,
And it
yeah,
was free. It
right.
was free because I used that for my thesis. That was what I used
Okay.
for my thesis. It was like, oh, it's not that hard to find a free form that is not Google.
Right. Well, and that will compile the data for you. And I think that's what's embarrassing is that shows you how disconnected the
Hmm.
RTC is from everybody else and from the other party is they're so technologically backwards. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
don't get it. That data is huge for the candidates, never
Mhm.
mind
Yes.
the
Yes, it
GOP as a
is.
whole.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's like how else do you reach out to people? I mean, so we're looking at, I mean, Jason is talking about voter registration and what have you, and I will say that there is a plan in place to get that moving this summer, sort of Scott Presler style, but we are focusing on districts that are close, that are flippable,
Hmm.
because that's Scott Presler did not cover all of Pennsylvania. He did
Right.
not go and hang out in Philadelphia. He
Right.
was in the places where he could actually get a result. So
Right.
that's what we're focusing on. And
Yeah,
we've got the data for that. That
and
exists.
that's what I had suggested too, like a while back. I said you should go into the towns and
Hmm.
that it's like a 50-50, and really you only need to win like say 100 votes in each of those towns.
Right.
And if you get enough of those towns, that 100 votes per town is going to tally up to
Yeah.
enough. It's going to outweigh the
Yeah. It's going to make
Democrats.
a difference.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so it's strategic. It's definitely
Yep.
there's strategy going on here.
Mhm.
So yeah, so we're working on that. We also want to start doing some more fun things and actually, maybe inviting in some unaffiliated voters because you know what? We are cool, funny people.
Yeah, I I'd like to have more people from the left on
Mm,
just to get their feelings before the election.
mm.
I don't, but it's good luck finding somebody that wants to go into the wolf's den.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And honestly, it doesn't have to be a wolf's den, but it's like, but if it would have to be someone who is capable of here's where that becomes problematic
mhm,
because and this is we were talking on Tuesday and we've talked about this before is how people decide what's important to them and if emotion is how you're coming in that's not going to go well.
right.
Yeah, so it has to be, we'd love to have someone on the left who would be interested in talking ideas. It's like, what
Yep.
ideas do you have to make the state better? And the tough part about that is that certainly the hard left hasn't, hasn't done anything but push the needle as far in that direction as they possibly can. And it's really hard to argue that on anything but an emotional basis because there
Mhm,
isn't a good logical reasoned argument for it. Even aside from just the fact like, oh, we're not going to comply with having needles stuck in us again.
right.
It's like there's just so much nope there. It's like, okay, all right, are you gonna send the cops to the door? Are the cops gonna comply with that?
Right.
I hope not, because that's a police state. That's totalitarianism there.
Yeah, yeah. And the police have already gotten into enough trouble with the bullshit that they've done over the last couple of years with those fake tickets, which is a
Mm.
whole other issue. But I think one thing that I think we could pull off as a network is similar to what a lot of the big networks do around election time, which is where they have like 20 to 25 people from the general population come in, and
Hmm.
then they ask them questions about the
Hmm.
candidates and about the topics and let them answer. And it's normally a mixed group where it could be
Hmm.
Republicans, Democrats, independents that aren't sure, and then people that have
Hmm.
kind of flipped from both sides.
Hmm.
I think that would be interesting for us to do.
Fun,
Um,
fun.
because we're not trying to control the conversation, we're just asking questions to see
Right,
what the general pulse is.
right.
And it'll also help all of our politicians that are running because
Hmm.
it's going to give them information to see, well, this is how people really think. Because we
Hmm.
can, I mean, qualitative versus quantitative data. We can look at the stats, that's quantitative. But to
Hmm.
get that
Yeah.
qualitative, it's a lot more expensive. So the more of those kind of like
Hmm.
group panel sessions
Hmm.
that you can get done, the more information you're going to have at your disposal to really shift how you're approaching the general public for votes. So I don't know if we need to do a sign up for that or how we would pull that off. I
Well,
mean,
we
we
can
don't
talk
even,
about it some more. And it's
yeah,
like it's easy to do that on Zoom.
right.
It's like that's easy. It would be a good idea to maybe at one of the events that we do, we could set up a panel like that. And
Mhm.
we'd have to get, it would have to be, come in and it could be a good opportunity to just show how wonderful we are.
Right, right. And yeah, and which is the most important part because I think we're all tired of being labeled one way or another just
Yeah.
because we vote a particular way. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, are you excited for tomorrow and
I am
Saturday?
trying really hard not to be neurotic about it. So I'm trying to label my anxiety excitement.
Mhm.
I am prone to anxiety, so we just I have to kind of go with that. And I have I have my calming herbs,
I
but
just
it'll be fine. It's going to be totally fine. It's gonna be.
I imagine what's going to happen is similar to how they vote for the Pope, where you got you got the
We're gonna
white
have the
smoke
white
versus the
smoke.
gray. Yeah, yeah.
I think we need to do that. I should bring a little pot of sage or something. Like,
Yeah,
oh, we won, or I got my primary, white smoke, so
right.
it's my smoke. So,
So I guess I'm sure a lot of people don't understand how this is going to work. Do you, as a delegate, do you vote for everybody? Like
so they
every
do.
position that's available?
Technically, there's two separate conventions. On Friday is the national where we vote for congressional candidates.
Okay.
If there was a senator running this year, we would
Hmm.
be voting on a senatorial candidate.
Okay.
Which, if there was more than one Republican who wanted to run for that position, we would be voting on that.
Hmm.
As it is, Friday is going to be all about the representatives for Congress that are running on they want to run on the Republican ticket. So delegates will be voting for that based on their district. They were not all going to be in the same room. The delegates for the fifth district is going to be in a room, the fourth district is going to be in a room, and the rest of us, because there isn't any specific challenger, because there's only one Republican running on a given ticket.
Hmm.
At least so far as I know, that's true for one, two, and three. Um, we'll all be in the same room, and we'll be, casting our votes. I don't know if I know there's two rounds of voting for governor, so technically you can switch your vote, uh,
Okay.
which is yeah, and I'm not quite sure how they collate all that. And I don't know if that's true for the congressional candidates as well. That is not going
Hmm.
to be an issue for my district. We've got Chris Lancia running, and that's it. And I like him anyway, so we'd have my vote, and there's no contest in Ansonia about whether or not he's a good idea because he's actually well known here. He's actually had he helped our mayor run his campaign before, and he's run campaigns himself.
Hmm.
So we're all in on him, so that's fine. Then the next day is state level stuff where we will vote on by district. We're going to vote on our, who is running for Senate, and if we have somebody running for, the assembly seat, which I don't know if we've got somebody written in who signed up for that yet.
Hmm.
I haven't tracked it. Whoever it is, I'm in. And I've met the guy who's running for my district for state senate, and
Okay.
he's great. I'm all for him, so that's great. Good guy, cop. I like him. And then I'm not sure where in the day we're voting for governor, for gubernatorial candidates versus the individual, versus our state representatives.
Hmm.
But that will be Saturday. State is Saturday, nationals on Friday.
Gotcha. And do you know who's running for District 2?
Um, for District 2, yeah. Uh, Shoot. Yeah, we had him on the show too. I apologize. Yeah, let me see if give me a minute. Talk.
Okay.
I'll find it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the only reason I'm bringing it up is because it looks like Joe Courtney is gonna he's gonna be primaried by his own
Oh,
party
okay.
by a guy by the name of Kyle. I don't want to mispronounce this, but it's Gawk. Um, that'd be a
Okay.
dangerous one to mispronounce.
Yeah. Oh,
He looks like almost like a Gen Zer. He's fairly young looking.
okay.
He could be a younger millennial, but yeah, he wants to go against uh Joe Courtney, and he announced his candidacy a while back. And then is it George Austin?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, because
Yes.
there's also Mike France and Sean Randall on here.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I don't know. I don't know the state of that particular thing because I thought he was running on his own, but maybe he's got some competition. But here's the thing. Their names might be floating around, but if they haven't filled out paperwork, then they won't be in the convention. So I don't know if they've done paperwork. I really haven't been tracking. I haven't been tracking two at all. Larson is, um, kind of like Rosa, he's the attitude in two has been that it's like, oh, he's pretty good, don't rock the boat kind of thing, which is kind of what they did in Maine with
Mhm.
Senators Snow and Collins for a couple of decades. And, oh, yeah, well, great job, guys. Um, so, if anyone's listening from two, please get engaged with
Mhm.
your campaign and don't assume that not Larson,
Courtney.
Courtney's like got your best interest in mind because it really doesn't.
Well, and I think this is the funny part is I think this is probably the first time that I can remember where there's been so many Democrats going up against incumbents
Oh, that's
and
interesting too.
and trying to primary. So
Mm-hmm.
nobody has run against Joe Courtney from the left. So
Mm,
that's telling me that there's a huge fracture
mm,
in the left right
mm-hmm,
now.
mm-hmm.
Because Josh Elliott is going against Ned Lamont for
Ah,
Democratic
yes.
governor.
Yes. Okay.
Um, I think there's a lot of weakness and they're starting to crumble. And th as they crumble, we have to take advantage of that. And
Yeah.
um, I don't know these three. I'm in District 2. I have no idea who these three Republicans are.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they must have filed paperwork because they're on Ballotpedia, which pulls data from
Mm-hmm.
the state
Okay.
websites.
Okay.
Um, but I think George Austin, you said, has been on
Yeah,
the
he's
show.
been on the show. He's been on the show. He's been on the show once. So you can,
How did I miss
it was
that?
Jason and I interviewed him. So
Gotcha.
you might have been on, sabbatical at that point, but if you come back through the archives there, you'll find him. So
Okay. Well, I mean,
I've met him.
honestly, anybody that's willing to do media is somebody that should be looked at
Hmm.
as a potential vote because the people that are afraid to do media are the ones that are stealing money from their towns.
Mm,
Um,
mm, mm.
as we've seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's interesting though because you guys if you're voting for people that are not in your direct district, it's probably hard for you to know really anything about the other districts races that are going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if they have candidates go up and give like a speech about why you should vote for them
Yes.
prior
Yeah,
to the
they do.
votes.
The candidates get a chance to stand up and speak for a while. So
Okay.
everybody gets to do a speech.
Mhm.
And so it's not a debate, but they do get to speak. Everybody gets to.
Sure.
So,
Well, I think on that note, what we've learned is if you're not going to debate, you're not going to win.
mhm.
And I, I I
Things
think
could go
we're
badly.
yeah, yeah, very badly, very quickly. I'd like to say the debate was her downfall, but it seems like there was more in
She
play
was
than
her own
that.
downfall.
Yeah, yeah,
Isn't that
yeah.
true of all of us? Yes.
Don't tell Jason because he won't believe that. He doesn't do anything off of emotion as we were told last
As he has
Thursday.
professed.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, other than that, you're excited, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, when I'm not being anxious, because I got to tell you, I didn't sleep that well last night. But it wasn't all about the debate. It wasn't all about the convention. I have other things going on that have made me a little anxious. So yeah, but yeah, so I'm gonna do my best to frame this as excitement,
Hmm.
and we got work to do. So my emotions,
Yeah.
whatever emotions I may be having about this, uh,
Hmm.
it's not relevant in the course of what the goal is. And I may be scared of things, but that's never stopped me from getting back on the horse, if you will.
Right.
So
Well, it's a new experience, and I'm
yeah.
sure I think the more experience you get at doing these, the more you'll kind of find
I'm
out what you can and can't get away
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, well, some of it
Um,
is I'm aiming to have this participation in the political process be normalized.
mhm,
This is something that we should all be able to engage with and know what's going on locally. And we haven't had a chance to really know what's going on locally because,
mhm,
you know, the the national events have been framed in such breathless, excitement, and it's it's like red team versus the blue team, and it's not sports, it's politics.
Right.
And for the breathless anxiety that and excitement and indignity that the pundits bring this to the people, it's like
Mhm.
you could be doing the same thing on a state level. So
Yeah.
there's still people. It matters more on the state level or even on the town level.
Mhm.
And why people get excited is because the announcer gets excited. If the announcer isn't excited, we're excited. I'm excited.
Right.
I'm excited. I'm anxious, but I'm also excited.
It's
So
like when a team gets a game-winning Hail Mary with the clock running out, and the announcer's
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
and he catches it, and there's no excitement whatsoever. It's just very monotone. Well, I will say there's probably a secondary job that you're not even thinking about, and I don't want to put too much pressure on you, uh, but as a delegate, you'll probably want to start networking with a lot of the other delegates.
That's actually one of the things I am genuinely excited about.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
I'm gonna,
because
even though I am an introvert, I'm going to get a chance. First of all, I'm going to get a chance to meet some of my fellow members of my RTC that I
yep,
haven't met yet. I've got two that I've met who they're delightful human beings.
hmm
So I've met three out of the four people who will be there on Friday, and so that's really cool. One of them happens to be my former mayor. Um,
yep,
and but I'm gonna get to meet other delegates, and that's gonna be pretty cool. And the folks from Derby's our sister city.
hmm
And so I'll get to, I've been in the room, I think, with those delegates, but it's always, it'll be nice to meet them too. Hi, what you doing? And we're gonna see if we can get my RTC straightened out after the convention. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just getting other people's information and contact information is going to be huge because
Yeah.
it's going to mean that we're not going to have to worry about Ben Proto ever again. Because the
Yeah,
more
and
delegates,
that's really
the
what's been happening, in this grassroots movements already. I mean, we have someone in there who's just a fantastic networker, and he's just been so good James has been doing these events for the last 4 years and just collecting people's information. And if
Mhm.
somebody knows something or needs something, he's like, oh, so and so knows how to do that, and he'll
Right.
hook you up. That's what he
Yeah.
that's what he has focused on doing. He's got a real talent for it. And
That's
you
that's
know,
what you want in a chairman.
I don't think he
That's
wants that job, but but the other thing is it's a part of a distributed network. Distributed networks are much harder to hack.
yep. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, seriously, I think that's where Ben Proto fell short is
Hmm.
he didn't combine like, oh, I should link somebody up with somebody because they can help with that problem. Like
Yeah,
you
he's not
mentioned.
about helping with the problems.
Right, right.
It's not the
And you
job, it's
mentioned
not what he thinks his job is. So,
well, and that's the crazy part because that is what your job is. You have to be a babysitter in
mm,
some regards when you're running a business.
yeah.
But like the woman that you mentioned that had an issue with the Facebook and he just said you're on your own. Well, if he had talked to other delegates that might have had similar issues, he could have sent them to those delegates to
Mhm.
help them out with that situation.
Right.
Because
Or
the
he
whole
could have actually used his bully pulpit and contacted Facebook on her behalf, for heaven's sake.
right, right, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But we only have what a year left of him.
Approximately, yeah, because
Yeah.
June is when the election is for the chairman. And for the record, it would be nice if we ordinary members of RTCs could vote for the chairman, but we can't. That is done through state central representatives.
hmm
So we'll see. And ideally, I do know that there is a shift in what these state central representatives think. And so I think Mr. Proto will not be going unchallenged next year in a
does he
more
get
organized way than Jason was able to pull it off.
right?
Yeah,
Does
but
well,
yeah,
Jason was a last minute thing.
he was.
Does he get a salary? for
Yes.
that position? He
Yes, he
does.
does. Yes, he gets
What's
a
the
salary.
salary for that?
Oh, I'd have to look it up. I don't know. We will find out for the next, I'll find out for Tuesday. So,
Okay. Yeah, because I wouldn't be surprised if he's just one of those guys that he just likes the salary and doesn't have to do anything.
yeah. Well, Todd Hecht from that interview we did, the other week with the fellow from the Virgin Islands, his thought on Ben Proto was that he was there to have champagne dinners and serve the people who were running the party in whatever
Mhm.
capacity they asked him to serve. And it's like, alrighty then.
That's funny because Aaron Stewart charged $18,000 to the Hartford Country Club, which is the same thing that you just said Ben Proto was doing, is he just wanted the champagne dinners. That's what that was. That was a champagne dinner.
Hmm. I
So
recall a nice little photograph from it was from last year. It was going around. It was on, I believe, Joe Hoft's blog had a picture of there was Ben Proto holding cups of champagne with a bunch of other people,
yeah,
and there might have been some comment on there about country club Republicans. So
I
so
resent that as a country club Republican. Uh,
hey,
we
if you
come
like
in,
golf, you're probably going to be a member of a country club. And yes,
yeah,
people
yeah,
who play
yeah.
golf, this is a fantastic way to network, as we know from our president. Uh,
Yeah, well, it's funny. So the country club that I'm a part of, and this is not off topic at all. This is just to show how different it is now.
mhm.
My country club is willing to kick people out that treat the staff poorly. And I ask every year,
Okay.
how many people have you had to kick out? Every year, it's multiple people that are getting kicked out because they are belittling the staff and trying to act like they are above everybody else.
Wow. Okay.
And
What is
yeah,
what is your country? What can you tell us what your country club is? Because
uh, I I
it's
don't
okay if you
know.
don't want to. I
I don't
understand.
know if I'm allowed to. I'd have to look at the bylaws because I
Okay.
am
Yeah, you don't want to get kicked out for being,
right,
but
right.
that is very cool, and this is something that country clubs should be aspiring to. Let us
Yeah,
change. Let us reframe country clubs.
yeah.
Yes, do
And
it.
and that's I mean and that's the thing too is like my country club has like marketed themselves as the anti-country country club where they are family
Okay.
friendly and they want you to be able to come in
Mhm.
and be relaxed and understand that people are spending a lot of money to be here so they don't want you to
Mhm.
worry about certain stuff. And it's also the community that they're building is similar to how it would be in any like I guess town where you want that connection and they are so willing to help people network and throw them together on the golf course just to like expand it and make it as cohabitable as possible because they know the more money that we spend is reliant on how our experience is. So
Mhm.
I appreciate it. I talked to the guy that does guest services and he signed somebody up and then within 2 months kicked him out because even this person's kids were screaming at the staff. And I'm not talking like adult children, I'm talking like 12, 13 years old.
Wow.
So it just shows that they're not willing to deal with that nonsense. And
Good.
I
This is
don't
what
think
leadership looks like. This is
right.
leadership. You know,
Right. And
this is show demonstrates how leadership creates a culture.
yeah. And there's another thing too, is like there's social memberships to golf country clubs as well as full memberships
Mhm.
and partial memberships. A lot of the Republicans that you think of as country club Republicans, they don't actually play golf. They pay the bare minimum to do the social stuff because they just want to network. Those aren't real country club members. I'm
Mhm.
a full member because I play golf,
Mhm.
and I rarely run into a ton of Republicans that are there to play golf solely. Um, my course is always empty for the most part. So, and I talk to them about that. I'm like, hey, they're like, oh, actually, it's great. Our numbers are up for members and our golf tee times are down, which is just means that they're getting the right people in there. But yeah, Ben Proto would be what you'd call a social member because
Mhm.
that's all he can do because he can't play golf because nobody would want to play golf with a guy like that.
Golf is a very social sport. My husband plays.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the people that he plays with are, most of them are conservative, not all of them, but a lot of them are. But they're out there, they're talking, they're having a good time,
Right.
and they're ragging on each other and cracking bad jokes and
Yeah.
you know.
Well, another thing too is like a golf professional in the area close to me said it. you play golf with somebody, you really get to know who they are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're willing to cheat
You're
when
gonna know.
when only one person is looking, think of what they're doing when nobody's looking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's an integrity test when you play golf, and that's
Interesting.
why,
Interesting.
yeah,
I'm sure my husband would agree with that. I'm sure he would.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I've never really met a bad golfer in terms of like they haven't been an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
So most people that play golf enjoy it. It's their time to get out. It's their time to get away from their family.
Yeah.
But then you got the people that are the Republicans that are just assholes, and um, I'm just glad that clubs are willing to kick them out because I think it shows the reset of everybody wants to take back control of what they are and who they are, and we can't do that if we continue to let the toxic people on the outsides
Yeah.
enter into the workforce. So I think that's the one good thing about DEI is that it has forced people to really look at who's around them and
Mm.
realize we can use merit through DEI. And I think that's what's going on is people are like, well, yeah, DEI is one thing, but then the most qualified person in
Mm.
DEI needs to come in. So I will credit that. I think that's been part of the shift. Um, and I think
Jay, I just want to point out that your generation is much nicer than mine.
no.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
He's gonna argue
The,
with me. I love it.
no, I'm kidding. Yeah, I think it's because we were told not to bully, even though most of us
Yeah.
did bully. I
You
think
know it's
we
wrong. You know it's morally wrong, even if you think you want to be.
right, right. Well, I think we're so used to being like little brother to everybody else,
Mm.
that Gen Z thought that they could skip the queue
Oh.
and pretend like they're a better generation than us,
Oh.
and we're like, yeah, good luck dealing with Generation X because we don't even want to deal with them because we know what they're going to do to us. So go ahead. You fight that battle.
Watch.
Yeah, exactly. And they keep losing and they're blaming millennials now for their problems. And it's like, what did we do? We have been
Yes.
nothing but silent. We don't say anything. We just stay in our lane. We're called lazy. We're called ungrateful. And it's like, whatever. We just roll with it. I think we're there. I think you've
I think
got an
we're there.
important day, 2 days ahead of you. So
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get a little breathing room here and well, yeah, this has been good. This has been good. It's been fun.
yeah,
All right. I'll see you on the other side and
yeah,
we will decant on Tuesday.
yes.
All right. Are you going to be filming anything, do you think?
I might go live.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't know yet. I know
All right.
Jason likes to do that. I'm not one that like
Right.
puts my phone in people's faces, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, let's see how it goes. I will not be filming anything, guys. I'm just going to be concentrating on my damn job. So,
Yeah.
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 So I was like, I gotta be at point A and point B, and I gotta do it all right. So, all right.
Right. So if I see you walking, I'm just gonna avoid you.
You don't have to go
Just
that
uh,
far.
you're just
Besides, you're
on a
not gonna see
mission.
me. I'm too short and you're too tall. I'll just disappear in the crowd. Well, I can't, nope, can't see her.
Yeah.
All right. God bless America. God bless Connecticut. May our convention go in the best possible way, whatever that is.
And good luck, Aaron Stewart, when it comes to the court case.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. May the truth be revealed, whatever the heck that is.
May the force be with her.
And of course, be with her. All right. Good evening, my lovelies. Bye.